Greetings, everybody. This is Justin Johnson, Executive Director, Community of Hope Health Clinic in Pelham, Alabama. Just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in to listen either via one of the podcasting platforms or here on YouTube. Um, this is episode number 6. We've made it to 6 episodes. I'm very excited about it. And today we're going to talk a little bit about strategic partnerships and what they are and how strategic partnerships can benefit not only the nonprofit but the company or the business or other affiliation that they could be benefited as well. Before I get started, though, I just wanted to uh, remind everybody that if you want to learn more about Community of Hope, you can. There's a few other ways that you can do that. You can go to our website at www.communityofhopeclinic.com. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Community of Hope Health Clinic, or you can go to our Instagram, which is instagram.com/CHHC_ShelbyCo. Those are the easiest way to get in touch with us. You can also uh, send me an email, Justin at communityofhopeclinic.com, and I can put you on our mailing list. I promise you that when I send the mail out, an email out, it's not very long and it's not very often. I try to keep those to 1 or 2 times per month, depending on what time of the year it is. So, uh, also, you can, here on YouTube, you can hit like and subscribe, and that way, uh, whenever you do want to learn more about us, or I'll drop a video here, whether it be for the podcast or just another video, you'll be able to see what's going on at the clinic. So, with that said, I guess we can get into what we're talking about today. We're talking about strategic partnerships. And not only is this strategic partnership for Community of Hope Health Clinic or a free and charitable clinic, but these are just nonprofits in general. And nonprofits in general, we've talked about it previous episodes. We talked about it at the missional focus, talking about partnering with churches and making sure that we keep our focus uh, with our mission aligned with our commitment to God and the gospel. But also, we've talked about it with fundraising, partnering with churches, partnering with other entities. And today I want to go a little bit more into that. I'll have a guest speaker today, Mike O'Malley. Mike is the executive director of the Alabama Association of Free and Charitable Clinics, of which Community of Hope Health Clinic is a member. So I serve as vice president of the Alabama Association of Free and Charitable Clinics for about 3 years or so. But I wanted to kind of just talk a little bit about strategic partnerships and how it works, how it can affect the ongoing operations of any nonprofit, let alone. I actually found a website called boardeffect.com, and they do a good job of kind of outlining what these strategic partnerships are. And I just wanted to go over some of the points. I think they had something like 7 points or something like that. Um, One of the things that I will talk about in the future, in a future podcast, is we're going to talk about board of directors and kind of what they bring to the table when it comes to the Community of Hope Health Clinic, nonprofits, other free clinics in general. Um, but as an executive director, I kind of function as the CEO of this. Let's just put it in context of like a Fortune 500 company or a public company, and you have a bunch of shareholders out there that say this is what we want to do, and then they get the CEO or the chair or whatever to kind of fill out that mission. Well, with a nonprofit, the equivalent of that is an executive director like myself, and the shareholders are like the board of directors. And so the board of directors are the ones who actually own the clinic and the nonprofit. And generally, when you look at the makeup of a board of directors, you're looking at different segments of the community that have a vested interest where you can build those types of strategic partnerships. So when you look at the makeup of a board of directors, if you're catering to the health sector, of course you're going to have some health people in there. But with a nonprofit, you want to make sure that you have somebody who's well versed in finance. You want to have somebody who's well versed in, since we're faith based, we have some faith based members. We cater to the Hispanic population quite a bit here, with us being about 65%, and so we do have some Hispanic um, members of our board of directors. We do have a smaller African American population, but we do have African American board members. So generally, what a good board looks like is not homogenous. It's very diverse. It kind of hits different aspects of the community at large. So you'll like I said, you'll have a finance person, you'll have a business person, you'll have a uh, an attorney, you'll have an accountant. So there's just a whole lot of things going on. But um, one of the reasons for this to occur is so you can have good strategic partnerships. And so, the first question you get is, what exactly is a what is a strategic partnership? So, a strategic partnership is any kind of collaboration that a nonprofit enters with another party, and they're sometimes called, alliances. These take the form of associations, just programming, shared services, or mergers. Once again, this is from boardeffect.com. And the purpose of these are to leverage the strengths of both parties to achieve a common goal. So let's just say that one of our partners is the Hispanic Immigrant Center of Alabama, Hispanic and Immigrant Center of Alabama, HICA, and HICA is they're advocates for the Hispanic community. Well, and then I guess in a sense of what we do here at the clinic, we're also kind of in that realm because we have 65% Hispanic patients, but we don't have all the other resources that HICA provides, just like HICA does not have the medical part. So we get a lot of phone calls from them, and then we send a lot of our patients back just because we work together. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, okay, we have an interest in the Hispanic community. You have an interest in the Hispanic community. You have more of a broader interest, and we have a very specific interest. So let's work together. So that's kind of what a strategic partnership is. Some of the ways that we benefit from it. Once again, this is from boardeffect.com. Um, you know, we've grown a lot in the last 4 years or so, but that doesn't mean we're trying to accomplish everything. And so if there's an aspect of social services, something maybe to do with the social determinants of health that we don't have the ability to cover because our growth, we can't grow too fast, we will use a strategic partnership like with the Shelby Baptist Association. In the past, we worked with them for a food pantry. And so we're not going to, we can't, we don't have the capability to provide food assistance to people who don't have it or who need it. And, but Shelby Baptist does, Shelby Baptist Association does. So in the past, we've actually worked with them to get food assistance for our patients. Um, one of the reasons why is because the overhead, the cost of, and the space, and when you're talking about cold food as opposed to non-perishable food, there's a cost there that we don't have that somebody else has, like Shelby Baptist Association. Um, but it also opens up networking opportunities. So, um, just my relationship with Shelby Baptist Association or with HICA or even with the Alabama Association for Intratracheal Clinics, we can work together and have conversations because we're partners with them. And something that maybe we didn't even think about before, we might be able to work with them. Uh, and they might actually have answers just by the networking aspect of working closely with them through something else. So strategic partnerships are good because when we work with somebody and it's effective, it benefits everybody. So here's like seven steps. I want to kind of go over this, and I'll put this up on screen for a nonprofit strategic partnership. Uh, you know, we discuss our nonprofit's needs. What can we do here? How can we get our patients what we need? And who can we work with in order to get that collaboration? Then we actually initiate that conversation. And we do this by identifying partners. And so just Yesterday, I was having a discussion with somebody who's in the banking industry who used to work for somebody that used to be a supporter of the clinic financially. And he said, "Hey, I know that person. I'll give you a call." So that's kind of what we're looking at. Um, and then you have to have, there's a lot of planning that goes on with this. You have to, how am I going to implement this? Um, and then there's got to be buy-in. Really, there's got to be buy-in from both organizations. And also, you got to realize that just because you see something in your head doesn't mean it's going to, fall out. It's going to come out, smoothly. And there's going to be changes. Every new service we add here at the Community of Hope, there's always growing pains, and usually it takes 3 to 6 months for us to get everything out. Case in point is going to be our on-site medication dispensary. Started off real slow, had some hiccups with the flow and whatnot, but now we're running pretty good for that. Um, our relationships are in writing, MOUs, contracts. I get this, you get that, and vice versa. And then hopefully it doesn't get to this, but if sometimes those contracts have to be put up for legal review. So anyway, I don't want to bore you too much with this stuff, but the strategic partnerships are important. I want to create more strategic partnerships within the community, whether it's nonprofits, helping nonprofits, or even maybe accomplishing some of the goals of some for-profit businesses that might want to give back to the community. And so we're always looking for ways to do this. Um, I'll be more than happy to sit down with you. I love for people to come in that are potential partners to come and see what the clinic looks like. Just earlier today, I was invited, I think, 3 pastors to come in and see what we do here at the clinic. So the possibility of their congregations helping out. So with that said, I hope you enjoy the interview I have with Mike talking about strategic planning partnerships. And I think Mike, we might actually talk a little bit about partnerships, maybe with legislators, which is another big thing, and partnerships, clinic to clinics, very similar businesses, but also out some of the outside businesses. So hope you all have enjoy this, and we'll kind of review it at the end. Thanks. Greetings. This is Justin Johnson, Executive Director, Community of Hope Health Clinic in Pelham. I am joined here today by Mike O'Malley. Mike is the Executive Director of the Alabama Association of Free and Charitable Clinics. He's the second Executive Director that the organization's had since reforming in 2015, in which I had a role in doing that. And Mike is he's the one that really helps us out when it comes to dealing with legislature and other. We work with grants through the state association and whatnot, and just wanted to kind of plug the state association's website for those of you who may not be from the Pelham area but want to know more about what goes on across the state. There's also a way to find out a clinic in your area, so that's alabamaclinics.org. So Mike, I appreciate you being on with me today.
Yep. Pleasure to be here, Justin.
And so we're talking today about strategic partnerships. And in my introduction, I talked a little bit about, how we create these strategic partnerships, what their basis, what they're used for, and the benefits, not only for the nonprofit or the free clinic, but also for those that we're working with, whether they're other nonprofits or other businesses. But I think one of the strategic partnerships that might be overlooked, especially when you're dealing with something like healthcare, which can get political, is the partnerships that come about when we're talking about our legislators, whether it be at a state level, a local level, or even like at the national level. And I was wondering if maybe you could kind of shed some light on what you see as executive director of the Alabama Association of Free and Charitable Clinics, and how you work with us at the clinic level to kind of help leverage what we do with not only getting into things like the state budget, but also just getting support in general.
Yeah, I think in my years of being in the nonprofit world, one of the things that I always noticed and was quite frankly was a little bit mystified by is all the nonprofits seem to sit in their own little world, their own little silo. They all have a great story. They all do a really good service to the people of Alabama. But when it comes to advocating what they do and why it's important, they keep it in that little silo. They're in that little silo, and I was really fortunate with the membership that we have with the free clinics. Everyone was eager to let me do things a little different over the course of the last couple of years. And again, I represent 20 some odd free clinics throughout the state of Alabama. These are free clinics. They don't get paid to take care of healthcare. They're not getting paid to give somebody insulin. They're not getting paid to give them their medicines each month or fix a broken bone. They're free clinics. And so what you do on a day in, day out basis, Justin, is phenomenal. You're giving people who don't have insurance, who are working people for the most part, who don't qualify for Medicaid, but who are out there trying to do well. They're just down on their luck, or they just have a job that just doesn't pay enough, or doesn't even offer insurance. So the need that we feel is huge. And so for me, advocating for a group like what you do, is easy, but we have to get outside the box. And I think one of the first things that we did as a group is we tried to pull together healthcare partners, the Alabama Hospital Association, the Medical Association, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Those were important groups to bring in and let them know who we are and what we're doing. Now, all those organizations have their own issues. So we had to accept the fact that, they're not going to solve our problems, but it was important that we build a rapport with them so that they know who and what we are and what we're doing. So we did that from day one when I came in. I tried to let everybody know who we were. Then, in thinking outside the box, I know all too often we as free clinics, we're focused on the patient. That's what you do. I mean,
Right.
I don't. In advocating for the services that you provide, I don't deal with the patients. I don't see the patients unless I go to one of your fundraisers, and I usually leave crying. When I hear the testimonies, man, those things are heart wrenching. But I had to get outside the box of what the clinic does. What value do all these free clinics bring to the people of Alabama? And in doing so, I brought in groups like the Business Council of Alabama. And a lot of people would go, well, what in the world would the Business Council of Alabama care whether you're alive or not? Well, you're the group that are helping maintain the health of their future workforce. I'm sure you've had a lot of your patients that have come through your clinic and received care for a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years, and then they get that good job that offers health insurance. Well, if that person had diabetes and they've spent the last 3 years not taking insulin, that employer who hired them has a ticking time bomb on their hand, a huge potential claim sitting out there. But we're preventing that. So I worked with the businesses and said, look, y'all need to care about these people. I know you probably don't even know where a free clinic is located, but you should. And then next was going to the governor's office and telling the governor, hey, this is what, there's people in Alabama doing things that are good. You need to know about this. Obviously, the Department of Revenue with Susan Wilhelm and Bill Poole and all those folks, the budget office with Doreen Carlton, all these people that are within state government who do a fabulous job. But if you don't go to them and let them know you're alive, there's no way they can know you're alive. So we really tried to focus on that. But I think when everything really started to come together this past year with our coalition of different groups and our advocating for the free clinics, was when everyone realized that the services that you provide and the community of hope provides on a day in, day out basis are critical to Alabama's economic development. Think about that. Alabama spends millions of dollars a year recruiting businesses to move to Alabama. They spend millions of dollars just trying to recruit companies in California to come to Alabama. New York, they're trying to say, look, come here. We're a good state. We're right to work state. This is a great place. We have, great employee base. Well, it's a great employee base if those employees are healthy. And that was when, I brought in the economic development and the economic development factor. When we as an association were able to show the value of all these clinics across the state of Alabama doing things to maintain a healthy population for the people of Alabama, that was critical. That put the big bow on the box. It let the business council know, holy mackerel, never thought about it like that. It let the governor's office go, wow, yeah, we are recruiting business. We didn't think about them hiring sick people. And I said, maybe the person they hire isn't sick. Maybe their spouse is.
Right.
So it's not just, because I had people coming to me saying, hey, Mike, seriously, you think a guy who's working, manual labor 50, 60 hours a week isn't healthy? I said, well, it might not be him or her. It
Well,
might
I
be
mean,
their
but
spouse.
even something like that, when you're talking about somebody who's doing manual labor 50, 60 times a week, one of the things that we've implemented here at the clinic has been our physical therapy program. And that person that's working 56 hours a week, that's a lot of wear and tear on their joints. And if they don't have
Absolutely.
insurance, they're going to develop stuff like arthritis really early. They're going to be 40 years old, 45 years old. And next thing you know, they can't work because their joints have locked up and they can't get that knee replacement or that hip replacement or that shoulder replacement. So yeah,
Yeah.
I totally hear what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, so it really, when we as an association, it takes time. It's just a branding thing. It took a while to brand us within state government here in Montgomery for our leadership. Senator Orr's just been a huge proponent of what we're doing. Senator Reed, Gudger, Barfoot, Albritton, Wagner. There's so many of them that their eyes are open. They're going, wow, this makes sense. We are spending millions trying to bring business to Alabama, but we're asking them to hire an unhealthy population of people who might be good workers, but they're unhealthy,
Right.
or their spouse is unhealthy. So we just really had to, and I hate to say it like this, Justin, and my heart, and I believe I know your heart. Not you, I had to get out of the patient brand. I had to get out of that and put it into and build our brand and service on an economic basis.
Right.
And that, I think that's critical going forward. We've just hit the tip of the iceberg. The things
Yeah,
that
I,
we
okay.
can do to help rural hospitals. One of the things that we're doing now is we're working with the Alabama Hospital Association for them to identify locations in need of a free clinic. And we're going to try to help a community set up new free clinics. Why? Because a lot of those communities in rural Alabama are really struggling for employers. And the state of Alabama is trying to recruit employers to those areas.
And there's no hospitals there.
Well, or the hospital's hurting because that hospital
Right.
is the free clinic.
Right.
Their emergency room is overrun by people coming in with a sore throat. And they can't turn them away. And those people don't have the money. So, so we're trying to help. We're trying to help maintain a positive, healthy healthcare system. And right now in the state of Alabama, our healthcare system is broke. It's
Right.
broke. Medicaid expansion would do a lot. I agree with that. But the system is not doing what it needs to do. And we as healthcare providers, we need to step up and do what's right for the people of Alabama, for the businesses of Alabama, who are the people who pay the people of Alabama.
Right.
So, so
Fully understand. Yeah, it's funny. I've been talking with a local hospital here in Shelby County lately, And one of the numbers that from an economic standpoint that really shows, and this is just for like those of us that have health insurance. Um, the average cost I was reading up for an emergency room visit in the state of Alabama is about $2,200, and that's just like bare bones. I'm walking through the door. From the time I walk in, the time I leave is 2,200. That doesn't include the tests. That doesn't include if they're admitted. That doesn't include any surgeries, imaging, diagnostics, labs, laboratories. And so, I was talking to the hospital, and I was talking about, we had 2,300 visits last year as a clinic. That's $3.3 million worth of healthcare services that we are keeping out of their emergency rooms.
Absolutely.
And that person who had, like you said, has not been treated for diabetes or hypertension for 10 years are finally getting to the point to where that A1C, it may not be, you know, 5.5, but it's not 14, and it might be 7, but 7 is a heck of a lot better than 14. And
That's right.
usually people can function with a 7, 6 or 7 on their A1Cs. But you start getting up above 10, it becomes a real hard issue. And next thing you know, that person that's been working, whether it's manual labor or they're used to working behind a desk or whatever, they can't do it just because their health's failed them. And so I find it so interesting when you really start digging into the numbers, not only for what we're saving taxpayers, whatever we're saying, saving those of us that have insurance, we're saving the hospital money, and we're able to provide all these services and get some of that return on investment as well for providing these services. It's amazing when you just start looking at it and how much we talk about strategic partnerships. Yes, they help us, but when I talk to, say, like our laboratory here that provides a lot of our labs for free to our patients, they're getting a benefit too because we know how to treat our patients at that point, and so their ERs are not being as flooded as they would be because you're right. If Community of Hope didn't exist in Pelham, that's a potential 2,000 plus ER visits that's going to kill the hospitals, which we're seeing places like West Alabama where they've lost the hospital in Greene County and they've lost the hospital in Pickens County, and so everybody's having to go in these different counties all the way to Tuscaloosa. It's amazing when you think about the amount of people in that area, even though it's very rural and it's a little sparsely populated. When you start adding up this county, this county, this county, this county, next thing you know, people are driving an hour to get these services. And it's just amazing how, when you really kind of look at the big picture, not necessarily clinic to clinic, but look at the big picture of the state, the amount of money that is being spent on, I wouldn't say they're lost causes, but they may be too late because there's nobody that's dealing with these with the indigent population.
Yeah, and a lot of these people don't have the ability to get to proper care in that situation. When that local hospital closed in Pickens County, a lot of people lost their healthcare system, their infrastructure. And you're right. Those same people, for the ones who don't have insurance, the hospital's the last place they need to be going. They need to develop a relationship with a clinic that can identify their long-term health issues and deal with them on a real-time basis. And one of the things I just think is one of the coolest things in the world is when I go and visit the clinics around the state and I see just some clinics use brown paper bags, and the inside that brown paper bag, well, that's Mike O'Malley's scripts for this month, and he's due to come pick them up today. And the person just walks in the door and says, "Hey, I'm Mike," and they hand him that brown paper bag. All their scripts are in it. What an awesome thing. And
Yeah.
and if they don't come and pick up that bag, we know we got a compliance issue.
Right.
We know there's a compliance issue, and especially when somebody has hypertension or diabetes or something like that, that's critical. And a lot of our clinics, matter of fact, most of our clinics reach out to that person and say, "Hey, you didn't pick up your scripts. you need to get in here. You need to take those every single day, and then if they say, well, I still have some left over from last month, well, then you're not taking it right. You're not doing what you need to do. And again, that person is a ticking time bomb. The question is that ticking time bomb going to explode and the hospital has to eat it because the person's indigent and they don't have the money to pay for the hospitalization? Or is that a ticking time bomb that's going to explode and they get a job and Blue Cross eats it?
Right.
Somebody's going to eat that thing if they're not taken care of. So that's sort of the box that I think we're best fit in, and that we as an association, a nonprofit association of free clinics, we don't have tens of millions of dollars flowing through our our group, but that's the box that we really need to start putting ourselves in, which is way outside the scope of the free clinic.
Right.
So, and I think a lot of nonprofits, again, like I said earlier, a lot of the nonprofits that I know of that do really good services, they keep themselves in a small box.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the key to the whole thing is get outside that small box and show the true value outside the fact that you're doing what's right. You're doing what's right, Justin. Your donors are doing what's right.
Right.
For every dollar that's donated to free clinics in Alabama, you're getting $10 to $15 worth of care for that $1. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Oh, I know. I agree. Well, see, and just kind of to end up our little interview here, I think it's what's even great is like, I know you've mentioned this to me. You mentioned this to me when you first took over as the director. When you've seen one clinic, right? It's
Absolutely.
because we all have our niche. We hit those niches that are specific to our particular areas. So with me being in Shelby County, I'm a mixture between urban and rural. But when you go out to like, Coleman County, you're looking more in a rural setting. And so the good thing about that and having an association like what we have is not only are we partnering with businesses and different organizations like you said, the Business Council of Alabama and our legislators, we're also able to partner with each other. And I think that's good because I can't tell you how many times that we've been in our monthly calls and somebody brings up a topic and then it kind of piques the interest of another somebody else. And next thing you know, we've got an email chain going on about how do we do this and how do we do that. And so even just us as a organization, even though we don't treat the same population and we don't have the same services, all of our services are alike enough to where we can benefit with each other. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of like the care message group that we brought in. That's going to give our clinics the ability to communicate with their patients and do it affordably, because as an association, we were able to do that.
right.
Versus having to do it individually. And there's a lot of different services that are out there that as a group, we can do it in mass and make a difference.
I think Project Hope was another good example of that. And
Excellent example of what we
we
did with
all did. We
Project.
all did different things. We all had different strategies. But at the end of the day, we were working together to get what we needed to do for our particular clientele. We were able to do that as a one. But even though we had our little splits in the way we did things. So
Yeah. If there's one thing over the course of the next year or two, assuming y'all let me represent you that long, that I want to do is I want the employers in Alabama to realize that you are solving their future healthcare issues. Because when they grow, when a company says, hey, we're going to add 500 new jobs to this manufacturing company, those 500 people are going to come from somewhere.
right.
And they might come from your competitor. Some will, but some of them are going to come from the guy who's working at the tire store. who works at a tire store with 10 people and that employer doesn't offer health insurance.
Right.
And they go, wow, I got a chance to go to work for that manufacturing company in town. I'm going to do that. And I get benefits. Well, guess
Agreed.
who now is paying for that issue? So I think it's important that we get the employers to realize the long-term value of what we're doing or what you're doing. And that's my goal over the next couple of years, to expand our brand, to get employers to understand the value of a local free clinic.
Good deal. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today, and hopefully those who are listening to this or watching this on YouTube will have the opportunity to learn a little bit about our strategic partnerships. We're always looking to create these on the local level. Shelby County, I think, is a great place. Lots of opportunity for us to work with you. You can help out, like Mike's been talking about, the current workforce and the future workforce in our county, that they're the ones that are going out and doing jobs. And then, there's, like I've told people multiple times before, you don't know who's coming to see us. It could be your neighbor, it could be your coworker, it could be somebody in your family. We're out there, and we just appreciate the support from the community. And I appreciate Mike and being an advocate for us, so we can be advocate for the people that we see. So thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. And we'll talk later.
Amen. God bless, Justin. Thanks for all you do, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. So that was my meeting and interview with Mike O'Malley at the Alabama Association Free and Charitable Clinics. Once again, if you want some more information on AAFCC, you can go to alabamaclinics.org. I appreciate Mike doing that. I hope you learned a little something about strategic partnerships. I would love to be able to show you our clinic and give you a rundown of what we do if you're in the Shelby County area and you would like to support us. You can always email me at justin@communityofhopeclinic.com. You can check us out more. I've got the links up behind me now. Our website is communityofhopeclinic.com. Facebook is facebook.com/Community of Hope Health Clinic. And our Instagram is instagram.com/CHHC_Shelby Co. You can go and check out what we've got going on. We had a lot of great stuff going on here at the clinic. We've been blessed. I want to thank God for all that. I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. Please please subscribe, please watch, tell your friends about it. We've got a $40,000 crowdsourcing campaign going on through FundEasy. I will link it in the description below. You can go to our website, www.communityofhopeclinic.com/donate to be linked there. You'll see it in the intro, and I think it might be in the outro after I get through with this. Please, if you can, donate. Any amount is great. Every amount is appreciated. Please share that with people. We've had $30,000 to $40,000 worth of unexpected and unforeseen expenses that were not budgeted for this year, and we're trying to make up some of that. And it would greatly appreciate it if you were to help us out with that. With that said, thank you very much. God bless you, and I hope to see you soon. And just give us a call or send me an email, and we'll be more than happy to show you and tell you all more about what the clinic does here. God bless.